We recently completed the first 2 acts of the story of Fallout 4. Producing that series gave me an opportunity to play the main campaign for the game all over again. And upon this most recent playthrough, something stood out to me. Time and time again, the sole survivor is pointed towards the great green jewel of the Commonwealth. Mama Murphy tells us to go there.
And even I don't need the sight to tell you where you should start looking. The great green jewel of the Commonwealth, Diamond City.
And we even hear about it on the radio.
Coming to you from, the great green jewel of the Commonwealth. It's Diamond City Radio.
What jewel is green? Well, there are many green jewels, peridot, jade, but I think the one that first comes to mind is the emerald. Diamond City may be called Diamond City, but its nickname is the Great Green Jewel because it's built on Fenway Park, which was painted green. Diamond City reminded me a lot of the Emerald City from The Wizard of Oz. Early in both stories, the protagonist is told to find their way towards this green city.
Wizard of Oz? Is he good or is he wicked? Oh, very good, but very mysterious. He lives in the Emerald City, and that's a long journey from here.
In The Wizard of Oz, Dorothy sees the Emerald City off in the distance as she approaches following the yellow brick road. And likewise in Fallout 4, we can see the lights coming from Diamond City from pretty much anywhere in the Commonwealth, but particularly if we're coming from the direction of Sanctuary Hills. The city never escapes our sight. This was intentional. The developers wanted us to see it from a distance, so we always knew where to go. I don't think this was an accident. I think this similarity between The Wizard of Oz and Fallout 4 is intentional. And so I began to rack my brain to see if I could find any other similarities. And the similarities start at the very beginning. When The Wizard of Oz opens, we're in the real world, in present day. But then, disaster strikes. Dorothy has a nightmare, and she wakes up to find herself in a brand new world.
Toto? I have a feeling we're not in Kansas anymore.
Similarly, when Fallout 4 starts, it's in the real world, in present day. But then, disaster strikes.
Oh my God! No!
Hold on!
The sole survivor has a nightmare.
Let the boy go. I'm only gonna tell you once.
I'm not giving you Sean!
And then wakes up in a completely new world. When Dorothy emerges from the house, she finds a pair of magic ruby slippers.
And remember, never let those ruby slippers off your feet for a moment, or you will be at the mercy of the Wicked Witch of the West.
Slippers that protect her while she's on her adventure. And when the sole survivor emerges from a nightmare, we find our own ruby slippers in the form of a Pip-Boy. A Pip-Boy that gives us a magical ability called VATS. Dorothy has a cute little dog named Toto.
Did she hurt you? She tried to, didn't she?
The sole survivor has a cute dog named Dogmeat.
Hey, boy. What are you doing out here all by yourself? Sort of a flea bag, aren't you? Okay, then. Let's stick together.
When Dorothy arrives at Munchkin Land, she saves the Munchkin.
The Munchkins are happy because you have freed them from the Wicked Witch of the East.
And she meets the Good Witch of the North.
I'm Glinda, the Witch of the North.
When the sole survivor arrives at the Museum of Freedom, we save the Minutemen.
Man, I don't know who you are, but your timing's impeccable. Preston Garvey, Commonwealth Minuteman. Listen, when we first met, You said you were glad to help? Well, you did. And we owe you our lives.
And we meet Mama Murphy.
What's your story?
Me? Oh, that's simple. Lead these here people to a land of safety and sanctuary. Now your tale. That's a winding one. Oh, yes. It's true. I saw it.
You saw it?
It's the chems, kid. They give old Mama Murphy the sight.
The Good Witch of the North gives Dorothy advice and sets her on her path to find the answers she's looking for.
Oh, I'd give anything to get out of Oz altogether. But which is the way back to Kansas? I can't go the way I came. No, that's true. The only person who might know would be the great and wonderful Wizard of Oz himself. He lives in the Emerald City, and that's a long journey from here.
Mama Murphy gives the sole survivor advice, and she also sets us on our path to find the answers we're looking for.
Diamond City holds answers, but they're locked tight. You ask them what they know, but people's hearts are chained up with fear and suspicion. But you find it. You find that heart that's gonna lead you to your boy. Oh, it's bright. So bright against the dark alleys it walks.
To find the Emerald City, the Good Witch of the North tells Dorothy to follow the yellow brick road.
How do I start for Emerald City? It's always best to start at the beginning, and all you do is follow the yellow brick road.
And similarly, once we reach Boston, we hear rumor of a freedom trail.
Institute has to have enemies, right?
What? You mean the railroad? Well, that's a fairy tale, man. They don't exist.
Nah, I heard from my cousin. He knows a guy that works for him. They got a code phrase and everything. Follow the Freedom Trail.
The hell is that supposed to mean? You're full of it, and that kind of talk is gonna get you snatched up by the synths.
To follow this freedom trail, we follow a red brick road.
The trail ends right at the church.
And while we don't find the Emerald City at the end of this trail, we do find the railroad.
Stop right there.
Both Dorothy and the sole survivor collect a variety of companions. Dorothy finds the Tin Man.
Man! A man made out of tin!
And the Tin Man joins her party, hoping to find a heart.
The tinsmith forgot to give me a heart.
No heart?
No heart.
The sole survivor finds a Tin Man.
Ah, my knight in shining armor. Question is, why does he come all this way? Risk life and limb for an old private eye.
A Tin Man coincidentally named Valentine, whose logo outside his detective agency is a big old neon heart. The Scarecrow joined Dorothy to find the Wizard of Oz because he needed a brain.
Oh, I'm a failure because I haven't got a brain. Do you think if I went with you, this wizard would give me some brains?
The Scarecrow in Fallout 4 is Curie. But more precisely, the Scarecrow is Synth Unit G519. While exploring Vault 81, we find a Miss Nanny robot named Curie who joins us as a companion.
Please, madame, can you take me with you?
As we develop a relationship with Curie, we get to the point where we start the quest called Emergent Behavior to put Curie's mind in a female synth's body.
I must become human, or as close as I can. I must find a way to download all that I am into a human brain.
Working with Glory from the railroad, we find a synth body, G519, that has a damaged brain.
So you're the one that wants to put a robot brain in G519?
Her sacrifice will give someone else the gift of life.
I think she'd like that.
Only her body works, her mind is gone. And during this quest, we can put Curie's brain inside G519.
My chest. What is happening? I feel so strange. Thank you, doctor, for this opportunity.
In this way, G519 is the scarecrow that eventually gets a brain.
Sum of the square roots of any two sides of an isosceles triangle is equal to the square root of the remaining side. Oh, joy! Rapture! I've got a brain!
Now, what about the cowardly lion?
Why, you're nothing but a great big coward.
You're right, I am a coward. I haven't any courage at all.
Well, the first character we think of when we think of a cowardly lion is, of course, Travis Miles on Diamond City Radio.
Travis.
Okay. I usually don't. This is why.
If anyone needed courage, it's him. He has a side quest called Confidence Man, no less. During that quest, we can work with Vadim Babrov to help Travis Miles gain some confidence.
Poor Travis, he means well, but he does not have the confidence he needs for that job.
Travis needs a boost of confidence.
He finds courage, just like the cowardly lion.
After all this, I think about the things that had me worried so much, and it just seems silly, you know? Like, was I really that worried about just being on the radio? That's nothing compared to being beaten up, shot at. I can do so much more. And I need to. Anyway, thanks again. I owe you.
Here's Ella Fitzgerald with another classic, Undecided, which is something I used to be quite often. Then I made up my mind. Decided to be cool. This is Travis Lonely Miles bringing you Johnny Mercer's personality. Something I only recently acquired, as I'm sure you're all aware.
The problem with this is that Travis Miles isn't really a companion like the Scarecrow, the Tin Man, Nick Valentine, and Curie are. Except he actually is.
I'm gonna help, so I'm coming with you. And I'm not taking no for an answer.
During the quest Confidence Man, he joins our party when we're exploring the Beantown Brewery for a short period of time. He becomes a temporary companion. Once we arrive at the Emerald City, we see the same face over and over again. The gatekeeper to the Emerald City.
Who rang that bell? We did.
The driver once we enter the Emerald City.
Well, would you take us to see the wizard?
The wizard? The wizard? I can't. Where? Yes, of course.
The guard guarding the door to the wizard.
It's all right. Everything is all right. The great and powerful Oz has got matters well in hand. I hope.
And the wizard himself.
Back where I come from, there are men who do nothing all day but good deeds. They are called good deed doers.
They all have the same face. And in Fallout 4, there's another guy we keep seeing only in cities. In Diamond City, we find him.
Welcome to the Great Green Jewel. You'll totally love it here.
In Good Neighbor, we find him.
Everyone's welcome in Good Neighbor. Even me.
In Bunker Hill, we find him.
Sure love trading here. For trade stuff.
We find the Wizard of Oz at the end of the yellow brick road, and we find Deacon at the end of the red brick road.
If you hadn't found us, there's a chance I would have found you instead. Thanks for saving me the trip.
But once Dorothy gets to the city and meets the wizard, he tells her to go kill the evil witch.
Bring me the broomstick of the Witch of the West.
But if we do that, we'll have to kill her to get it.
And once the sole survivor reaches Diamond City, we learn that the man that we're after is none other than Kellogg.
Wait. It couldn't be. You didn't hear the name Kellogg at all, did you?
I want you with me on this, Nick.
All right. Let's get that bastard.
And so both Dorothy and the sole survivor leave the city to kill their witch. Dorothy tracks down the witch to her castle. Well, I mean, she gets kidnapped by flying monkeys and dropped down into the castle. But Toto, her dog, tracks down her companions.
Why, don't you see? He's come to take us to Dorothy.
And leads them to the Wicked Witch's castle.
What about dog meat? Commonwealth mutt like him can track a man's scent for miles.
Dog meat. Get the scent, boy. Get Kellogg, boy. Take me to that son of a bitch.
Dog meat leads the sole survivor and his companions from Diamond City to Fort Hagen, which is Kellogg's lair.
Is this the place? Is he in here, boy?
Kellogg is the Wicked Witch of the West.
And there he is. Most resilient man in the Commonwealth.
And you, my dear. What an unexpected pleasure.
God, you're persistent. But I think we've been talking long enough. We both know how this has to end.
You've been more trouble to me than you're worth, one way and another. But it'll soon be over now.
And when Dorothy's companions arrive at the castle, they find it guarded by a bunch of fearsome green guards. And when we arrive at Fort Hagen, we find it guarded by a bunch of synths.
I must report this assault to directly.
Fine, then.
But at last, our heroes are victorious.
You cursed brat! Look what you've done! I'm melting! Melting! Oh, what a world! What a world! Who would have thought a good little girl like you could destroy my beautiful wickedness? Ah, look out! Look out! I'm going!
Dorothy kills the Wicked Witch of the West, whereupon all of the goblin guards turn good.
She's dead. You killed her. Hail to Dorothy! The Wicked Witch is dead! Hail! Hail to Dorothy! The Wicked Witch is dead!
And the sole survivor kills his Wicked Witch.
You know, in 100 years, when I finally die, I only hope I go to hell, so I can kill you all over again, you piece of shit.
You love
All this tech, you were barely human.
But upon finally arriving at the Institute, all of the synths there turn good.
Welcome to the Institute, sir.
Scanning. Unknown identity. Clearance. Confirmed. Nothing to report, sir.
And he discovers that everyone at the Institute actually hated the Wicked Witch.
Kellogg. He was an Institute asset long before I arrived here. It wasn't until I became director that I learned of all the things he'd done. What kind of man he was. I am well aware of the atrocities Kellogg committed. I suspect there are many more we'll never know of. I, for one, will never truly forgive him.
Kellogg always was a cold bastard. If you ask me, we're better off without him.
But that's about where I think the similarities end. After Acts 1 and 2 in the story of Fallout 4, it kind of goes off in 3 or so different directions that really don't have any correlation to the plot of The Wizard of Oz. But now that I've brought it up, what do you think? Do you think that I'm onto something here? Are these all just coincidences, or do you think it was intentional? Are there any other similarities between the two stories that I missed? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I'm still in the middle of producing my series on the full story of Fallout 4. Now that I've completed both Acts 1 and 2, we are doing the faction stories and the faction endings for each faction in Fallout 4. And if you don't want to miss those episodes, be sure to subscribe and to click that bell notification button. I publish a new episode in that series every week. I've got a shirt shop with completely unique designs that you can't find anywhere else. My designs come on shirts in a variety of men's, women's, and children's sizes, and in a wide array of colors. You can find them on other items as well, like smartphone cases, pillows, posters, mugs, stickers, prints, etc. So if interested, you can find a link to my shop in the description below, or you can click here. If you like what I do, and you want to support me in a more personal way, consider becoming a patron on Patreon or a member here on YouTube. YouTube members get access to little badges that appear next to their names in the comment sections of my videos, and access to Oxmojis that they can use in my video comments and during the live chats of my live streams. But more than anything, I'm just so glad you're here watching this video with me today. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you soon with more brand new videos.
Ah!